Hi, this is Jeff Mitchell with the Golf Standard. Today we're talking about how to gauge sand. I generally identify sand as either really firm, medium, or real fluffy. And obviously there are some gray areas in between, but being able to categorize them as one of those three is really important because each of those three kinds of sand will change the kind of shot you're trying to hit, and it will change the way the ball reacts coming out.
Basically what I've done here is I've tried to recreate some sand that represents firm, medium, and fluffy. And one of the ways that you can test sand, obviously you can't do this on the golf course, but on the driving range or in a bunker you can, but it's just taking your sand wedge and just gently dropping it on the sand. And you can see that right there barely made a mark. This one right here made a considerably bigger mark, and that one right there really buried in the sand.
So we have a ball sitting on an area that I have tried to pack down and get it as firm as possible. Another ball sitting on what I would call a pretty medium area, and then this third one in a nice fluffy area. The differences between these are so that you can identify them. In a really firm bunker, it is real small pebbles, or it is pebbles that cleave together real tight, or if the sand is wet, you're going to get what I would call a really firm surface. The significance of that is that as you take a swing and you go through the sand, you're not losing any energy in there because there's no air to dissipate that energy. So in a real firm situation, the golf ball is going to come out farther. It's going to come out a lot quicker than it would out of a medium or a fluffy gauge sand. So if you identify this as a very firm surface, when you take a swing, the ball is going to come out very quick. In a medium based sand, and that sand that is either real dry or maybe the sand pebbles themselves are a little bit bigger, you're entering a little bit of air into that scenario. And what happens is, as you swing through there, some of that energy is not transferred to the golf ball. The ball comes out what I call a real medium distance. For me, this medium is where I show all my sand ideas, and one of those is that if you take a good swing out of the sand, take an appropriate amount of sand, the ball is going to come out almost exactly 1/3 the distance it would if you were hitting it out of the grass. So if you had a 10-yard shot, you could take a swing to hit it 30 yards and the ball would only go 10 yards in the air. For the really fluffy sand, this is sand that is either real big pebbles or it's real dry, and the sand doesn't really cleave together. In this situation, it's going to take a much bigger swing to get the golf ball to go the distance you want because there's a lot of air introduced into this kind of sand. So as you swing there, the ball may only come out 15 or maybe even 20% of the distance that you would have if you were hitting it out of grass. For the firm pack, that ball might come out 50-50. It can make that significant of a difference. It can also make a difference in club selection. If the ground is really, really firm, you still need to be able to take a lot of sand. And so a normal setup with the club 30-35 degrees open, you might end up having to square the blade a little bit so you can get that leading edge to dig down underneath. As you go to the medium, that is, you set it up 35 degrees open, you should be able to get a real good result. As you get to real fluffy sand, you might want to take a club with less loft. You might want to square the blade a little bit. You might even want to play it just a little bit more back in your stance. Take the gauge of the sand into account as you hit these shots. It might make a big difference in the results you get. Till next time.